We now have a tracking module that connects to the back of the screen here, track random objects. We have tuning knobs on every single access point. A new briefcase handle that just connects seamlessly. I feel like we can all agree that gimbal technology feels like it's slowed down a little bit.
I got money, I got cars, I get everything I want. When I walk up in the store, I get everything I want. It don't matter what it costs, I get everything I want. Everything I want, everything I want, I get.
Clear off the rack, I'm splurging. Nails, shoes, purses. Please don't change you perfect. Please don't change you perfect. Every dollar bill, baby, you work. Keep dancing and I'ma keep throwing.
I got money, I got cars, I get everything I want. When I walk up in the store, I get everything I want. It don't matter what it costs, I get everything I want. Everything I want, everything I want, I get.
Originally, I was part of early pre-production meetings for this gimbal. This is the DJI RS5. And once it was time to, showcase it, I told him, I think I'm going to pass on this one. I don't really see anything too interesting about it. But then I started to see some of my fellow creators and buddies do videos on it. And I was like, I messed up. So I came back crawling to DJI, and now they are sponsoring this video because I think they actually did some very useful upgrades. For a while now, we have been just using the RS4 Mini on my channel here for a lot of my videos. The RS4 Mini has been getting the job done because, we're not using ginormous cameras usually on my channel. Usually we're using the Nikon ZR or the Lumix S1 II or even the S1 R2 that we're filming on right now, or just whatever camera I just happen to be using for that week. The reason we've been using this gimbal so much was because of the new tracking module. A lot of the times, we're a little bit more old school with this, so we just like manually doing it. But there are a lot of times where the tracking module was coming in very handy. So cue in the new RS5. Takes some of the stuff from the RS4 Mini, but it takes it to the next level. This was a request that I had for the RS4 Mini, but as you guys can see, we now also have the tracking module on the RS5, but more importantly, it now shows the camera view on the back of the screen. This was something I was telling my DJI reps when I was first testing the RS4 Mini. I was like, we need to be able to see what the hell the camera's seeing, because that's gonna really, it's going to make it a lot easier for us. Well, now we can do that. And it really does help because oftentimes, if we're shooting with anamorphics or certain different zooms and stuff, it's kind of hard to line up what this is seeing with the camera. So on the RS4 Mini, there's been times where we're trying to track, and even though the gimbal's tracking it, the camera might not be lined up perfectly with it. So now that we get the view on the back of the screen here, it makes all of that way easier. You can actually go in and you can pivot the view horizontally to better align it with whatever your camera is seeing. Now, for me, that was one of the bigger upgrades. There's two other things. One of the things I think is available on the older gimbals, but I'll save that after we go over this next big thing and some of the smaller things. So the next big thing, our briefcase handle. If you get the combo kit now, thank God we no longer have to connect a bunch of different cables. You don't have to buy third-party accessories and figure out how to connect those. Now all this just seamlessly integrates with each other. I don't know about you guys, but without a briefcase handle, I do not like using gimbals. I don't like doing this at all. I hate doing this. I need a briefcase handle personally because a lot of the times it just adds another access point for stability, but also a lot of the times, I'm chasing my subject. So I'm trying to follow low down, get more angles and access points from there. So a briefcase handle has always been a necessity for me. Now, in the past, the issue was if you want to keep controls on your briefcase handle, you had to get third-party accessories, attach all these wireless bits so you have wireless control, make sure that's being charged up, or have all these cables powered up, and then you had all these cables hanging around. Now with the RS5, again, if you get the combo kit that comes with the briefcase handle, all you do is just connect it to here, and it powers the grip, and we have all these controls from here. This is amazing. It's stupid how simple this is, but this is a fix that we've been needing for a while now. Let's get into the more smaller things real quick. First off, before, anytime you had to bring the tripod foot down, you would individually have to put each foot down or take them back out. So a lot of times, when this is rigged out, we're having to carry it and put each one out. Thank God It just closes all at once. I know this is incredibly simple and stupid once again. From there, we also now have the knobs, the tuning knobs on every access point, which makes it even easier to balance this gimbal now. Before, the hack kind of was a lot of the times, you loosen it and people wouldn't be able to move, the balancing points. And the secret was you got to just lift the weight off of it and then it just glides super easily. But even that, you couldn't really get precise movements. Now with this setup here, you guys will see, I can now just twist this and that's all it takes. And again, we have this on every access point now. So we have on the horizontal, and then when you're balancing this access point right here, we have one down here as well. We also have one on the bottom support as well. And then as usual from the past couple of generations of gimbals, we have the same knob up here that controls the Arca Swiss plate. Now that we have all the physical parts of the upgrades, let's start talking about the use case for this gimbal here. First thing, I'm really excited about this, the tracking points. I don't know why I didn't know that this existed before. Again, I do think that this does exist on other cameras on here. For a lot of that desert footage that you guys are seeing, we use the Lumix S1 with the new DJI Arcana anamorphics. We had the whole focus gear set up on there. So as usual with the RS gimbals and the RS4 gimbals, we can pull focus right here. I will say that is one downside with the Briefcase handle is we don't have the dial on the handle. I kind of wish they included that, but currently it's right here. I will say it is hard to pull focus on these gimbals. They're not really, it could get the job done, but it's not going to be like a big professional setup. So with that said though, the other setup that I like using on this is my Nikon ZR. You guys can see I'm obnoxious and I had XDS designs. I think XDS, XLDS. I can never remember your guys' names. I apologize. I'll put a link in the description to this. I do believe they are selling this now. But you can see this is my Nikon ZR in here with the Blazar Talon. So I'm just going to slide that into here. All these upgrades were like the kind of upgrades where like, we could have used that years ago. But again, that's just technology. That's the way it goes. So this setup here requires zero focusing gears or anything like that because this is a 1.5x autofocus anamorphic lens. This is one of my all-time favorite anamorphics up to this point. It's 2026. Obviously, Blazar has released a lot of lenses. So I think moving to the future, I might start pairing these up. If I need more juice and character, this will be the combo. But if I want to mix in some more clinical sharpness, I'm going to do the Arcanas. And then if we need a gimbal setup like this, I'm still going to be using the Talons just because of the autofocus. So you guys can see, I'm going to swipe left over here. And now we are getting the tracking module view here. What's really cool too is we can actually do object tracking. So you can see that neon sign over there. I can just swipe over it and you can see it picked it up. So now when I move this, it'll track the neon sign. This is kind of what I think a lot of us were imagining when the RS4 Mini came out, and now we're kind of getting that more here. Now there are settings for the tracking module, so I'll just click down here. We can start with composition. You can see there's two options. So when you start tracking, it will either keep it in the center, but as you guys can see, I have keep current framing because obviously, I'm trying to make more cinematic pieces here. So if I have somebody off to the corner thirds or something like that, and I click that tracking, it's going to lock it in there. It's not going to try to shift it around or anything like that. From there, we have active track speed. I highly recommend if you want more of the cinematic look, stick with slow. If you're trying to keep yourself, in the box and it tracking you, you go to medium and high. But medium high does not look cinematic. It doesn't look natural. You could tell you're being tracked by the camera. We also have gesture settings, which I turned off. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I talk with my hands a lot. So when I was interviewing my buddy DeLorean, because we are going to launch these hats soon, I was talking with my hands a lot and it would either stop recording or it'll stop tracking. So if you are filming a subject that is doing a lot of this, you might want to turn those off. All right, let's go over the thing that I'm really excited about here. I'm just going to swipe left. Let's go into track. I think this might be available in other gimbals. I'm not too sure. It's real simple though. I'm just going to start right here and I'll aim it down. And now I'm going to click the plus button. And now I'm just going to move it and say I'm just going to go over and film you guys. So it'll lock it off right here. I can click the plus sign once again. And now that's going to add a second waypoint. What's cool about these tracking points is essentially we get some David Fincher type looks. David Fincher is all about his precision in camera movements. His camera movements almost feel robotic. It has a certain flavor to it. Now you'll see, I'm just going to click start and then it's going to start moving. And that move should take 5 seconds, and it's gonna stop there, and then it's gonna hold that. That's so freaking dope. Again, I have no idea. I think the other gimbals might be able to do this. They might have been able to do this for years. I don't know. But I just discovered it on this, and you guys can see some of the shots I was getting with it. Absolutely just beautiful. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to these 3-axis gimbals, sometimes it's kind of hard to get those more precise type movements. I could do it on my Ronin 4D, my DJI 4D, a lot easier on there because we have that 4th axis and it smooths all of those movements out. This guy though, again, it's only 3-axis. When you try to do that, even if you just move a tiny bit vertically, you kind of see it and it gives it that gimbal move. Now, DJI did include this new Z axis right here. You can see it's basically tracking how smooth I am. So if you got a good ninja walk, you should be able to keep that pretty steady. But if you're walking just normal, you'll see it bouncing around. So let's just go over it one more time. We now have a tracking module that connects to the back of the screen here. So we could track random objects, whether that be my dog's foot, my dog's face, my feet, the camera, whatever you guys want to see. From there, we have tuning knobs on every single access points. We also have a new briefcase handle that just connects seamlessly. You don't need a wirelessly connector or anything like that. You can stop and start recording from there, control the gimbal all from there. You can see right here, I can reset it, control everything from here. And then obviously if I connect it, the ZR via USB-C, I would be able to start and stop recording from it. And yes, you can still put your focus motors on here. You guys can see the more cinematic stuff that we're shooting with the D0 Arcanas. We had a whole focus motor set up on there. It works just like all the other professional DJI gimbals. And then last but not least, the tripod legs closing all at once. Like what else are we gonna get now? You know, like these things are just goated. They work so well. Anybody who's owned a gimbal, you know, DJI kind of runs the game when it comes to gimbal. So this is one of those boring things where it's like, I don't really want to make a video about it. I just want to use it. It's one of those pieces of gear that's just kind of a necessity that, you know, it's at a point where we're not really drooling over it anymore. We're just using it. Shout out to all you guys who stayed and watched this. I appreciate you guys. Obviously, I'll have links down in the description if you guys want to check this out and buy one for yourself.